I mean, we hear about the great wealth transfer all the time, but what does that actually mean? So, if we take a step back and break it down, by the year 2048, just over 20 years from now, it's projected that 124 trillion will move from baby boomers to the next generation. And of that, about 105 trillion will go directly to heirs. So this means that essentially more than half of all household wealth in the US will be changing hands within a single generation. And, when we talk about the kids here, we're not talking about toddlers playing with toys. We're talking about adult inheritors, right? People in their 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, who will suddenly find themselves responsible for managing significant wealth that they didn't build and in many cases weren't taught how to handle. And here's where I think it gets really interesting and a bit risky is 87% of inheritors say that they plan to use a financial advisor during the wealth transfer. But 9 out of 10, so 90%, don't even consider their family's financial advisor when deciding who to work with. And, I think it's important to just let that sink in, right? Close to 90% of inheritors do plan to have a financial advisor, but 9 out of 10 don't even consider their family's financial advisor when deciding who to work with. And so what we have here is essentially the vast majority intending to seek guidance, but actively choosing not to work with the advisor that their parents trusted. So, I mean, taking another step back, right? Essentially what we're watching here is the most financially prepared generation, the boomers, passing their wealth to the least prepared generations, largely millennials and Gen Z. And this isn't because younger generations are disinterested or they're not capable. It's because there's been this breakdown in communication, in education, and inclusion. And let's be honest, as a culture, we love to stereotype generations, right? We say Gen Z is self-absorbed or that millennials are entitled or whatever it might be. But here's the truth. It's really the fact that the lack of preparation is not the next generation's fault. It's simply the result of a gap that no one has really taken the time to intentionally close. So there's a lot going on there, but I think the main point is that families aren't failing to have these conversations because they don't care. They're not maliciously leaving their kids in the dark. It's just hard. It's emotional. It requires vulnerability, planning, intention. And in the chaos of day-to-day life, honestly, it's easy to put off these big guiding conversations for another day and then another, and then that ultimately becomes forever. And I think that's really where the advisor comes in, right? In a world where financial advice has become so commoditized with portfolios that are automated, information's everywhere. So what makes your work truly fee worthy is not just what you know, but what your clients face, right? As an advisor, you're in this unique and powerful position to really gently refocus your clients, facilitate some of these conversations, and help them protect the legacy that they've worked so hard all of their lives to build.
Okay, so yeah, you covered a lot of ground there. The stats are staggering. And even if you break that down into 3 to 5 year sort of windows and increments, those are big numbers, big forces. And it's interesting. There's all kinds of reasons and studies around why this has become a blind spot or an unmet need or a gap within so many affluent families, especially the first generation self-made affluent families.